Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Don't let someone else enjoy your refund. Save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware.
Of them, you will see that in as much as possible, the court seeks to do at least equity in the situation.
All right.
So the court, I don't think the court is allowing people to take advantage of people.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. That's almost all time will allow us. Do you have just 30 seconds?
Yes, just to say that context is very important.
Right.
And on your last comment, it's important that many of these decisions come out into the public so that men and women know what they are getting themselves into and what to expect. A final point, one of your colleagues was talking about what happens in the context of married, couples. I think that is different. Let us not mix up the issues.
Okay.
When it comes to issues of spousal property rights and so on and so forth, the dynamics there are totally different. So let us not mix up the issues. A very important discussion.
Okay. So very simple. If you enter into a contract and the contract offends laws of Ghana, that contract is deemed to be void. That means you cannot go to a court and say the court should enforce it for you. If you enter into a contract with someone and that contract is against public policy, which we have spoken about, questions of morality, then the court said this is settled law. That contract may be unenforceable. This has been the law. It is your legal rights. It is your health law. And my guests have been Gertrude Amoko Ama, who is lecturer UPSA Law School, senior associate Owusu Dapa Law and Associate, and Richard Obing-Mensah, lecturer, Faculty of Law, KNUST, managing solicitor, Light Associates. Thank you. We'll catch you again next week with another interesting edition. We have dealt with baby mamas, but we will have to look at that again.
Elias Yusuf Baba. I am from Dondoli community, a suburb of one municipal in Upper West region of Ghana. I was born in the post-independent era, a distinguished personality, a social entrepreneur, an Islamic influencer, a politician, and a farmer. A chunk of my life has been directed to helping the mental challenged people in Upper West region by way of, impacting their life, helping and assisting them, bathing them, feeding, clothing, and medicate them through regional psychiatric units. I almost go around almost every fortnight, bring them together, bath them, feed them, and clothe them. And afterwards, I invite the municipal hospital to come and screen them. Apart from that, I've given almost all of them health insurance, just to make sure that when they are sick, I take them to the hospital. My motivation is whenever I ask myself the purpose of my life, that motivated me more to go into this, because I ask myself, what am I here for? Apart from service to God, what is the other thing that I can do to impact somebody's life? When I ask myself such a question, it gives me more hope to go into such a venture. We have been doing this for almost 17 years. We started as a volunteer group in 2007 and had our formal and legal registration as an NGO in 2010. There are more than 200, 300 people, as you know, because they are not stable. People used to come and go, but at least as we are speaking now, in one municipal alone, we had about 47 people, 47 registered people. But those people who pass through Bahas Foundation are more than 200 people. JoyNews is a very big and a large platform which everybody would like to feature on. And I know this thing, inshallah, it will bring hope and it will bring a lot of investors, a lot of benevolent investors to come to our aid, to push our initiative for the mental home we are trying to build in Upper West region.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlimle. We're on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, Peace Council calls for ceasefire, lamenting the grave impact of the Boko conflict on the lives of innocent citizens and the total development of the municipality, while emphasizing the need for a different approach in restoring peace in the area. Also, Electricity Company of Ghana outlines what it terms active plan to address all issues accounting for intermittent power supply across the country. We'll hear from the energy distributor that is dispelling rumors of a possible return to Dumso, adding that power cuts could be local faults.
Obviously, there was issues internally with regards to payments to some of the generators, and so there were unforeseen events that led to power outages.
Plus, no speeches, no campaign, and no campaigning during Saturday's primaries. That's the warning from the NPP General Secretary to all delegates and aspiring parliamentary candidates getting ready for this weekend's polls. We have details for you. And ahead of the Black Stars encounter with the Mambas of Mozambique later today in the Group B qualifier, we'll tell you how Ghana is preparing for that match. We have business, showbiz, world news and business coming up this afternoon. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces at JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is at Danana Aisha. Please do stay for details. The National Peace Council is calling for a ceasefire in the Boko conflict. Member of the council, Sheikh Arimeya Ushaibu, says the conflict is depriving innocent citizens of their lives and development in general. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, calls for government to tackle the conflict differently keeps increasing. According to experts, leaving the matter in the hands of politicians will only get the issue aggravated. Security consultant Professor Kwesi Enin, for instance, believes such political inclinations makes it difficult to arrive at a holistic approach to resolve the violence.
This will not be the last time. Actually, it's going to escalate dramatically, depending on how we respond to the latest challenges. Boko has been allowed to fester over the decades, and the approach first to understanding what is driving the crisis, the way it may have transformed over time, how outsiders and conflict profiteers may be exploiting the challenges and diverting attention from the critical issues at stake, and leading the whole those who ought to respond in directions that do not touch the core of the problem. Boko is fascinating because it exposes the shallowness of how we are looking at this problem. So it's been an ethnic conflict between two major groups. It's been, relating to chieftaincy, identity, access to land, but also, of course, if the story that we are hearing about the latest incidents, access to military-style weaponry. Now, almost every category of explanatory framework that I have provided, were we to disaggregate them, leads to even more confusion, but certainly gives us a sense that we are not tackling this problem the way that it ought.
We can now hear from Sheikh Arimeya Oshaibu on the impact of the conflict in Boko as he calls for a ceasefire.
I would wish that we really get our politicians from the northern part of the country to establish a certain united front where both NDC and MPP and other political parties who are MPs are now talking collectively about the situation and how the situation is dire and the circumstance that is putting the people of Boko in. You see, the naming and shaming sometimes, for those of us who are peace activists, we are very particular about what we say in public, so that it doesn't undermine our strategy to want to bring the warring factions together at a round table. Once you pass judgment, next time you are calling the person, you are not getting him, and the situation gets more and more aggravated. So we prefer that we identify such people and then probably behind the scenes call them and draw their attention to the evils and the negative impact of what they are doing, so we can speak to their conscience and get them to change in their mindset and also influence the mindset of those people who are there. Young people who could become great people are losing their education. They are becoming more and more poor. They can't go to the farm. They cannot make money. And yet people from far away somewhere are sponsoring these sophisticated weapons that we are talking about.
And on your election headquarters, the New Patriotic Party has issued directives against the camping and transportation of delegates to voting grounds for Saturday's parliamentary primaries. The directives are aimed at ensuring free and fair polls. Camping of delegates has become one of the commonly used strategies in party elections as means to ostensibly influence voting. But the NPP says it will not countenance such strategies this time round, as provisions are made to transport delegates to polling centers. Justin Kodia addressed the press in Kumasi on this.
Expected to walk in freely by themselves. No delegate shall be escorted to the voting screen except those with mobility issues and with the Electoral Commission consent. A voter must wait to be cleared before entering the perimeter of queue control. There shall be no camping of delegates. There shall be no camping of delegates. No voter shall wear the color of any contestant at the voting center, be it t-shirt, caps, or posters of contestants. Delegates shall not be allowed to enter the voting screen or booth in groups or in pairs. Voting shall not take place indoors, but in an outdoor place in full glare of the public. It is an offense for unaccredited persons to enter the voting perimeters. A delegate who has already cast his or her vote shall not be readmitted into the voting perimeters.
The party has reiterated its willingness to deal with issues of vote buying if proper evidence is produced against any suspect. Mr. Kodia again.
Yes, all political parties front against vote buying. But the question has always been about suspicion and allegations. And sometimes it is mostly aftermath that people will come and say that I was given this amount, I was given that amount. And in some cases, you don't see people in the act of giving the money to other people to influence their vote. But as a party, we frown on it. We frown on it. And if we catch anyone red-handed in the act of giving money to someone to influence the person's vote, then we can take an action. Again, if it comes to an allegation, then it means that the disciplinary committee has to come in for us to investigate as a party.
And ahead of the polls on Saturday, some government officials are jostling for parliamentary slots. But is it a case of job security or a genuine quest to serve the nation? Elton Brobe has more in the following report.
The MPP will seek to break the 8th electoral cycle with Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in December, in what is likely to be the most fiercely contested election in the country's political history due to several factors. For some, the uncertain outcome seems to be the driving force behind some appointees of government seeking to find shelter in Parliament. The Tana North constituency in the Ahafo region has two heavyweights battling it out. Special advisor to the Vice President, Dr. Gideon Obwakom, is attempting to unseat the Water and Sanitation Minister, Frida Prempeh.
I'm not coming in because somebody has failed or otherwise. I'm coming in because of what I think I can offer to the people. Honorable Joe Donko came, Honorable Akubo Deborah came, Frida Prempeh came. None of them, and I can say this without any shred of doubt, because we saw all of it, none of them, proud to their ascension to the seat as members of parliament, had served the party, has served the polling station people, has served the constituency, and delivered more projects and opportunities to the young people in this constituency than I have done. And if that is anything to go by, it means my beginning is something bigger. It means the end and the process thereof is going to be something bigger for the constituency.
In the Ahafo North constituency of the Ashanti region, the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Eric Nana Ajiman Prempeh, will seek to win the slot. A similar contest is expected in the Asante Akim Central constituency, where the Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurial and Innovative Program, Kofi Ofosun Ganza, is seeking to unseat the incumbent Kwame Eyimedu-Entwi. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Middle Belt Development Authority, Vincent Frimpong Manum, is confident of victory in the Kwadaso constituency.
We have shared our message. They have compared the two of us. Even though I'm not MP yet, they've seen all the things that I've been doing for the constituency, and they feel that this is the time for them to make a change that will bring them servant leadership, a change that will bring them development, a change that is transformational, and that is what I am all for. I have been engaging them. We've spoken at length. They know my track record in the constituency. They know my track record in the party. And they know my track record as a development practitioner and the things that I have been able to do.
Away from politics, the Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for Bosonchi constituency, Dr. Yawase Dichum, candidate on the ticket of the NPP for the 2024 parliamentary elections has been confirmed. The NP seeking a third term in Parliament was selected by popular acclamation by delegates of the constituency. Yes, Clinton Yabua's report.
In the Ashanti region, 5 parliamentary aspirants are running unopposed in the NPP parliamentary primaries. In accordance with Article 7 of the New Patriotic Party's constitution, 1,027 delegates in the Bosomtwi constituency gathered with a single voice of affirmation to support Dr. Yawase Dichum. The process of popular acclamation is the Electoral Commission's constitutional means of confirming the unopposed aspiring parliamentary candidate as the NPP parliamentary candidate for December's election. Dr. Yawase Dichum, in his acceptance speech, thanked delegates for entrusting in him another representation. He vowed to tackle pending critical issues confronting the area.
Minister for Education.
I mention Bosomtwe everywhere I go because I was an MP before becoming a minister. I want us together to lift the name of our constituency. I believe I have achieved enough for this constituency, and I'm grateful for you trusting in me.
District I'm by more constituency and by more next schools Yamians.
There were only 3 secondary schools before I came. Now you can't count them. I have sat with elders. You will no longer see dust on your roads.
JP Nanano Yeno Dinkitaho, Ahimphony Ahima, Obusunchina by.
Oh, how am I going to find a doctor?
What's going on?
My stomach won't stop talking.
What's it saying?
It's saying to use ZocDoc.
Wait, what?
I can search by availability, specialty, location, and read reviews from real patients.
What about insurance?
You can filter by who's in network.
Are you two gonna miss this?
It said there's always chili in the freezer.
You've got more options than you know. Go to ZocDoc.com/music or get the free app to book today.
The National Democratic Congress has hit hard at the government over the delayed completion of infrastructure projects in the Ashanti region. Among the stalled projects is the Phase 2 of the Kejeta Redevelopment Project and the second phase of the Kumasi International Airport. The NDC Regional Secretary Frank Amwakohene at a press briefing expressed worry about the delay and its impact on development. Nana Boache Yadom has more.
The second phase of the Kumasi Central Market, the Krofro Market, and Phase 2 of the Kumasi International Airport are among several stalled projects in the Ashanti region. The delay in the completion of the Krofro Market, Kejeta Redevelopment, and the Kumasi Airport projects, as well as other hospital projects, has led to several protests by traders and residents. According to the Ashanti Regional NDC Secretary Frank Amwakohene, the government has failed the region.
Government has failed Ashanti region, and there is no iota of doubt about that. I mean, a region that is your World Bank in terms of votes should not be treated this badly in terms of development, in terms of opportunities, among others. In fact, Ashanti region should have seen 2 or 3 times the development Eastern region has seen under Akufo-Addo. And we believe that Ashanti region has been sidelined so far as the Akufo-Addo administration is concerned. And it reflects even in his appointments, his ministers, his CEOs, among others. Most of the key people who are Ashantis and could get opportunity under Akufo-Addo and help the Ashanti region have all been sidelined. And we believe that this current setup, MPP setup, has nothing to offer Ashanti region.
The NDC flag bearer, John Mahama, is expected to take his Building Ghana tour to the Ashanti region next week. Mr. Amwakohene outlined the itinerary of the former president while in Kumasi.
His Excellency John Mahama will stay for additional 2 days in the region. And whilst in the region, he's going to engage with organized labor, traders, market women, students, citizens, and everyone that we may come across within the communities that we have enlisted for this kind of engagement. We believe that this series of activities will bring His Excellency and the party much closer to the people.
The 24-hour economy sensitization walk will feature in the tour.
The road is clear now, and we are ready to embark on the retail campaign. And this retail campaign will be led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself. And it is scheduled for 24th, that is Wednesday, 24th January 2024. We are starting at exactly 8 o'clock a.m. And the route is as follows. We have amended it just to suit the other programs as well. So we start from Abu Abu Post Office. We will go through Pelele, on the run, Menshia Hospital. We proceed to Alaba Street, KJT Runabout, Hello FM, A-Life, Asafo Overpass. We will go through Labour Runabout, and then we will conclude our walk at the Jubilee Park.
For JoyNews, Nana Boache Yadom, Kumasi.
The Electricity Company of Ghana says it is actively addressing all issues accounting for the intermittent power supply across the country. Ghanaians in recent times have called for the publication of a new load shedding timetable in order to enable consumers of power to properly plan for the continued power outage. While there are fears of a return to the dark days of power cuts known as Dumso, the nationwide energy distributor says any power disruptions experienced could possibly be a local fault.
Obviously, there was issues internally with regards to payments to some of the generators, and so there were unforeseen events that led to power outages. However, all these issues have been resolved to the barest minimum that we can, and we are still negotiating with some of these power generators to maintain that seamless power supply that we've been enjoying for the past week now. We've realized that some customers are complaining that their lights still go off. We are very sure that these outages are not those that we have foreseen or as a result of a generation shortfall. It would be a local fault, and so we are asking all our customers that for these local faults, please call our lines so that we can come and attend to them, because these are not situations that we can see on our system. If it's something that is very local with the what they call them, low voltage. So if there are issues with the low voltage lines, we wouldn't see them on our systems until the customers call us, and so we entreat them to call our 0302-61161 number.
Meanwhile, the ECG says it has not yet implemented the 15% VAT on power consumption by customers above lifeline levels. Although the Ministry of Finance explains the levy forms part of the country's COVID recovery and must take effect from January, the ECG says it is yet to effect those changes.
So the value-added tax announcement that came into effect in January has appalled a lot of our customers. The truth of the matter is that we haven't started implementing it, even though that letter says that it should have been activated in January. The reason being, we still have to understand how to implement this tax. So we are having active conversations with the Ministry of Finance, with the Ghana Revenue Authority, and with other stakeholders who have also brought their concerns forward. So for now, there's no value-added tax as announced included in residential tariff or residential customers buying electricity. For now, it's still the old status quo. When you buy, there's no VAT added to residential customers buying bills.
So are you equally engaging stakeholders to perhaps resolve some of inter-stakeholder challenges that may be affecting power supply across the country?
We've maintained an active engagement with our stakeholders, who mostly comprise of the power generators, to have them on the same page with us in terms of payments. I think since last year, our revenue generation has increased, and we found a way of ring fencing or having an agreement with the IPPs to hold on to the legacy debts that we owe them. But we are very up to date with the current bills that come to our desk. We try as much as possible to pay off those debts so that they can also function as businesses. And for any other issues that might be within, yes, usually we have engagements with all the stakeholders that are in.
Then your final comment on the VAT.
Away from the ECG, tax consultant Francis Boy is cautioning government to slow down on taxing the populace. Government's imposition of more taxes, including the 15% VAT on electricity consumption, has been met with anger from a lot of quarters, with financial analysts describing it as a lazy approach to raising revenue. Listen to a professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School on this.
A country that has gone through a painful fiscal adjustment of higher taxes, expenditure rationalization, domestic debt exchange, the only viable way it could welcome its citizens into 2024 was to impose VAT on electricity consumption. Okay? And it's also an election year.
The TUC is kicking against that.
I support them. In fact, I'll be glad to join them if they want to demonstrate against this. I support them. I think Ghana, we have allowed too many wrongs in this country.
But Prof, the wrongs have happened, and we need a solution. And part of the solution is simply to mobilize money. So if we can use electricity to mobilize money, these are easy sources by which government can get money.
It's a lazy approach. Government should work hard. Nobody is against raising more money. Look, who are we building this economy for? Are we not building it for Ghanaians? Are we not building it for Ghanaian private sector and businesses? What happens if by the time we achieve macroeconomic stability, half of Ghanaians have gone into poverty and have no way of reversing that? What economy is that? At the center of it all is people, businesses. So we are looking at the optimal way of raising revenue without compromising the ability of households to also meet their needs and private sector to also continue to remain competitive. These are the options. Ghana doesn't have an option.
Okay.
Nobody can tell us that the only way out is to impose more taxes as we have done.
Well, tax consultant Francis Boy says if the tax regime is not well managed, Ghana risks a situation where Ghanaians will begin to resist the payment as well as evade where necessary, adding that will be very unhealthy for the country. He spoke earlier on News Desk.
Over the period, let's say 12, 13 years, we've had too many of the indirect taxes. And indirect taxes, in principle, are normally described as regressive. The reason that we are having too many of them is that they are the easiest to collect and many people cannot avoid it. So over 60% of our total tax revenue comes from indirect tax. The impact is that the very poor get hit the more. And so I don't see so much of the direct taxes coming in. So in totality, you can describe our tax system as, too much weighted towards the indirect tax. That makes it some form of regressive in our tax system. The poor will suffer the most because, you can't avoid indirect tax unless you don't buy any products or anything. You will have to pay. If it is direct tax, it is mostly progressive. The more you earn, the more you pay. And this is synonymous to what we see even in our families. Those who are rich are supposed to pay more. But here is the case, because we are unable to collect the direct taxes, we tend to go for most of the indirect taxes, VAT, levies, here and there. And even the way it has been calibrated, we end up adding the levies on the price of the item before we even slap the VAT. So in effect, it is more like tax on tax. And that is why we normally say the VAT rate is 15%, but effectively it is more than that. It's somewhere 22%. Those are the problems that we see with our tax system.
The Senior Staff Association of the Legon branch says it will not return to duty until its members' conditions of services are met by the government. The group is accusing the government of failing to pay their Tier 2 pension to the fund managers, thereby affecting the pension payments of the staff that recently retired. JoyNews' Ken JC has been speaking with Mary Yaya, who is the Vice Chair and Women's Organizer of the Legon branch of the Senior Staff Association, and has sent in this interview. Right, so Kenneth JC joins us with more from that interview. What more has Mary been telling you, Ken?
Right, Isaac. So right now, the striking senior members are at the graduate school to make sure that all the doors here are locked. Nobody is supposed to work. They do not want any of their members to begin working. And so they're saying that they will ensure that nobody opens their office. I have some of them here who would want to speak to me. Hello, you're live. Why are you coming to the graduate school?
Yes, because we understand there's going to be graduation from tomorrow. And our members are the ones who are helping prepare these students for graduation tomorrow. And we are ensuring that they leave here because we are on a visa strike.
So you don't want the graduation to happen?
No, that's why we are not stopping the graduation. We are only saying that our members should come out and go home because they are supposed to be home actually.
Right.
Yes.
So which services are being affected?
So at the moment, we are in graduate school. Graduate school, close. Graduate school, close. Estate, close. Close.
all the horse, close, Papa War, close, Water War, close, Commonwealth, close, registry, close, registered office, close. We can take it.
Right, but you're raising concerns that some of your members are not, obeying the strike rules. Tell us a bit about it.
You see, this is part of it's societal problem, right? Some will be forced to go, whilst others will voluntarily stay at home. So we are making sure that all people who have said to come to work, we are asking them to leave, and exactly that's what we are doing.
Okay. And if they don't, what happens?
Oh, we will go and say whatever happens, but they know what we can do. They know what we can.
And we are also aware that some of our bosses are threatening our members.
Yeah, we've got
and because of that, our members who are
Kenneth JC speaking with some of the striking senior staff association members at Legon who say they will not come back until their issues are resolved. Now, some aggrieved residents in the Adansia Sokwa constituency in the Ashanti region have staged a demonstration to protest the late completion of infrastructure projects there. They took to the streets of some towns to pour out their frustration on their MP, who they say has failed to lobby for those projects to be completed.
Clad in red, the aggrieved residents from Fumso, Asokwa and Anuyaso in the Adansia Sokwa constituency took to the streets to express their disappointment over some stalled projects in their constituency, including health and community centers. They also protested the poor trading environment, which they say exposes traders to health risk. The protesting residents say they have been left out of the government's developmental projects.
The
president promised us a factory, but there is nothing like that. We have been sidelined for years. We are angry.
This big constituency, which we have this third market, the largest market in Ghana, which is the third largest market in Ghana. We don't even have public toilets in this market. We don't have clinic, no urinal. Even the police station we have in Fumso is someone's house. It's a family house, which we used to do the police station for 24 good years.
We have seen nothing. We know nothing about. Just look at our market. We have no urinal, a whole lot. My sister have said a whole lot. And unemployment rate. Just look at our youth. Just look at our youth. They are all jobless. They have nothing to do. Yes, they have nothing. And this is the time we have risen up. We need our development in Adansia Sokwa.
The Adansia Sokwa constituents expect their member of parliament to lead in lobbying for project's completion.
Katie, when you fees, when you 24 years in
the MP has done nothing after 24 years. We don't need him here.
Sika and our pet, Sika, Yampanua, Papa Yampanua,
Edumania, Bibiania, and Mrantia, Staki, and Manuka Tandia.
There are no jobs, there is no money. Traders do not get any profit after making sales.
24 years. What 2008, 2012, 2016, 2024, up to now,
after 24 years of voting for him, we can't make mention of any developmental project. There is nothing in this constituency.
For JoyNews, Nana Bwachitankwa Kumasi.
We can stay in Kumasi as the leadership of the NPP meets over Chairman Wuntomi's derogatory statement. I've been joined by Nana Boache Iyadom for more on this. What has been the outcome of this meeting?
So presently, the NPP leadership, led by the General Secretary, Justin from Ponkodia, and also the national organizer, Nana Boache, they are all in the Ministerial Palace. They are meeting the Kumasi Traditional Council. Presently, the information that I have now is that the Asante is not in the country. So the Kumasi Traditional Council is being chaired by Bantama Hene. And from what I know, first to speak in the meeting was Mr. Kudia, that is the NPP General Secretary, and he told the mission of the delegation to the Asante Palace. And according to him, they came because they know that the Asante, the traditional authority, have extended, they've called Chairman Wintney over alleged derogatory remarks against the Asante. But presently, Chairman Wintney is indisposed, so he came to plead that Chairman Wintney is granted 2 weeks, and after the 2 weeks, the NPP leadership will come together with Chairman Wintney for the traditional authorities to listen to his side of the story. Presently, various factions within the Kumasi Traditional Council are, they are all deliberating on what exactly the NPP General Secretary said here at the National Palace. And some of the chiefs have already had their take on the issue. And all that I can call it, they are saying is that Wintney cannot be granted 2 weeks. That 2 weeks, the period that he is seeking for. Some are saying he should be granted 3 days to appear before the traditional authority. Others are saying that he should be granted 1 week. So at the moment, they are all having their pens on the General Secretary's seat, and they are still in the meeting. After that, Bantama will pass his judgment, and the story will continue from there. Already, the NPP has banned all of its members from commenting on the issue, and the substantive issue is yet to come up here. But what the NPP has done here is that they've pleaded for the Kumasi Traditional Council to give the NPP and Chairman Wintney some time to present him, since he is indisposed at the moment. The traditional authority is also seeking for a document to prove that indeed Chairman Wintney is indisposed. So that is what is happening now at the Ministerial Palace.
Nana Ajuma with the updates from Kumasi. Definitely will bring you more from this meeting in our subsequent bulletins. We're still live on Joy News Today. When we return from this break, we'll bring you business.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey!
Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment on Joy News Today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. The International Monetary Fund has described Ghana's economy as one showing signs of recovery. This was after the country completed its first review under the fund program, resulting in some $600 million in disbursement. George Yafe has more.
PZ Cousins.
The IMF says reforms efforts are bearing fruit. Growth in 2023 has proven to be resilient. Inflation has declined, and the fiscal and external positions have improved. The IMF in their statement also said that Ghana's performance under the program has been very strong, meeting all the quantitative performance criteria, targets, and structural reforms. Tefaro Day is the mission chief for Ghana and has been speaking Washington, D.C., USA.
Inflation is going down very rapidly. External and the fiscal position are turning around. The other part of the assessment is that economic activity is performing better than what we had in mind. And this is why we are revising our growth projections up in the context in this review.
The IMF was, however, quick to add that there is a need for government to press ahead with reforms aimed at improving tax administration, strengthening expenditure controls, and enhance fiscal rules to ensure lasting adjustments. Since Ghana signed the IMF program in May last year, it has now received $1.2 billion from the fund. If this assessment is anything to go by, then we should expect some interesting response from the country's donors and investors.
PZ Cousins, producers of Camel antiseptic and other personal and house hygienic products, says 200,000 lucky winners will be rewarded in the Camel Treasure Hunt promo. The ultimate winner in the promotion will walk away with 100,000 cedis. Now, speaking of the launch of the Camel Treasure Hunt promo in Tema, Head of Brand Development and Activation for PZ Cousins, Ghana and Kenya, Hafsa Arthur, says the promo is reward to loyal customers. Here's more.
PZ Cousins, producers of leading home and personal hygiene products, says its successes over the decades could not have been possible without the support of its consumers. Promotions such as the Camel Treasure Hunt aim to reward loyal consumers. The promo, which is the 6th national consumer promotion in the last 7 years, will reward 200,000 people and 100,000 cedis as the grand prize for the customer who is able to find CAMEL after scratching Camel antiseptic liquid bottles. The Camel Treasure Hunt promo runs between January and April this year and has prizes ranging from airtime, cash prizes, to free monthly shopping sprees. Head of Brand Development and Activation for PZ Ghana and Kenya, Hafsa Arthur, says through the promotion, the company is giving back to the customers.
So we've chosen the Treasure Hunt promotion. The basic mechanics is for consumers to buy, scratch, text the code to 1393. Participates actually has a chance of winning something, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly. Our monthly rewards are in the form of a shopping spree, which we will give more details as we journey through. But the exciting part about the promotion is that we want you to hunt for the letters CAMEL, letters that spell camel. And so with every time you scratch, you would get one letter. Anytime you scratch, you get a letter. It could be multiples of C, multiples of A, multiples of M, or if you're lucky, you could get each and every one of them. Because the promotion is digitized, the very first consumer that's able to scratch and have the CAMEL is the winner of the 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Hafsa Arthur shares who qualifies to take part in the Camel Treasure Hunt promo.
Basically, every Ghanaian qualifies to participate. The only ones who don't qualify to participate now are ourselves, the business. Anyone who is associated directly to the business, either as a customer, either as a staff member, or the families of any of us cannot participate. Other than that, any of you here and any of you listening to me is more than welcome to start right now hunting for that 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Meanwhile, category brand manager for personal care, Dorothy Opare, demonstrates how customers can take part in the promotion.
So this is how every bottle on the market will look like now. We have a scratch panel, which is across the bottle. When you buy your Camel products, all you have to do, any of our bottles, either the Lime Fresh, which is this, or original, you just scratch the panel. Yes. And so once you scratch the panel, you reveal a code. Now with this code, you text to 1393.
And that's it for business. Sports is next.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. We are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
The best gift you can give a loved one is good health. The Love FM Fitness Walk is the only platform which prevents this exclusive opportunity to walk with your friends, partner, granny, kids, abongo, empna, obia, ukunu, schoolmate, etc. to stay healthy. Banks, insurance companies, construction companies, hospitals, schools, security services, various fitness groups. Come and let's shake off the stress. Start looking for your walking kit, and let's hit the streets of Kumasi to de-stress, exercise, and burn some calories. You can also send us a minute video. Shijama Kakra, Yedede Kakra, as cooperating institutions, groups, or individual declaring your readiness to partake in the walk. Stay with Love 99.5 FM and Ishra 104.5 FM and get more details on the walk. Or call 0245 594 425 for inquiries. Remember, Fitness Walk is on Saturday, 3rd February 2024 at the Kumasi City Mall, 6 a.m. Shut us up.
Let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak, and it's a destiny-defining day for the Black Stars at the Africa Cup of Nations. They took on Mozambique in a must-win final Group B encounter. This has become necessary after the team lost their opening game to Cape Verde and drew their second against Egypt. Now, my colleague Muftar Nabila Abdullahi was at the team's final training session yesterday and came through with this report.
All players are available for selection on Monday. That is so far what we have witnessed at the training grounds as the Black Stars prepare for that make or break encounter against Mozambique on Monday. It is a game that will define Ghana's future in this year's African Cup of Nations. Majuda Shimeru, who was pulled out of that game against Egypt on Thursday, he's here training with his colleagues. Chris Houghton earlier on Sunday had mentioned that the technical team will assess the fitness level of Majuda Shimeru and make a determination as to whether he will be part of that team that would play on Monday against Mozambique.
The update on Majid is that we are still assessing him, but the signs are good. He will train today, and the signs are good that he will be fine. And this was a situation in the game where we had to bring him off. He'd received a kick in training before that, and a consequence of that meant as he started to get into the latter part of the game, he was feeling it.
Apart from that, Chris Hughton had also spoken about the expectations of many Ghanaians who are hoping that this team would not exit the competition like they did in Cameroon in 2021.
I think there is always a pressure going into this tournament because we are the Black Stars. I accept the first part of your question that potentially going into this tournament the expectations maybe were not as high as in previous years. So this I accept. But for all of these questions and for any question that anybody asks about pressure now, we have to use that as motivation, and the players have to use that as motivation. And I would like to think that after the first performance, we always know there will be criticism if we don't get the results that we want, and I would like to think that the team used that in a positive way. And if the expectations are perhaps lower this tournament than they have been in previous tournaments, then exactly the same. We have to use this as motivation to make sure that we succeed in what our ambitions are.
Dennis Odoi, who spoke to the media at a pre-match press conference on Sunday, had mentioned that on match day 1, the players did not cover their lines so much, and he says it is important that everyone responds to the issues that they had on match day 1 and ensure that there's success on Monday against Mozambique.
I think after the first game, there were obviously some issues that needed to be sorted, and I think if we look at the second game, that was much better. I'm thinking like in the first game we had some issues with players being available between the lines. I think in the second game we were more compact, so there was less space for Egypt to find the players in between the lines, and also if the lines are closer to one another, it's easier to press and you can be more aggressive. If the lines are far apart, then you always get caught up in between. So I think like off the ball against Mozambique, we'll need to do the same thing.
A win for Ghana against Mozambique is non-negotiable. Chris Hughton and his boys are aware. Millions of Ghanaians are expectant. Even neutrals are expectant because they believe Ghana must always be there when it matters most. Muftau Nabila Abdullahi reporting for Joy Sports.
That's your sports on JN Today. My name is Harun Mubarak. Showbiz is up next.
And talking about showbiz, we're still staying in Ivory Coast, where the spirit is to support Black Stars to win their last match, right? Well, some celebrities have been able to visit Black Stars in their camp. I'm talking about Kim Promise, who has been seen at the camp. Stone Boy, who was at Afro Future in Ivory Coast, later on also visited the camp. But Samini, the reggae dancehall artist Samini, has been there to support and is also going to be on the field to throw his support. He says he doesn't like to sit home and watch. He said this in an interview with Amayo Debre, and also predicted a 2-win for Ghana against Mozambique this evening.
And himself, Samini in the building. What do you feel about tomorrow? What are our chances?
Well, it's becoming more difficult to sit at home and watch. As it goes, it just becomes hard to just be behind the TV and watch. So I thought I'll be here in person and add my energy to our last group game, so that if we are lucky, we get to get a win and get a chance to stay in the competition. Because, you know, it won't be good to go home like this. So I'm here to add my energy to the last energy that's left, so that we see what happens.
So what will be your message to the boys? I mean, the Black Stars, people have been attacking them left, right, center. What's your message?
It's not an easy position to be in right now, but what I would tell my boys is that let's keep our heads screwed on, let's keep our focus tight, let's make sure we're listening to our psychologists and we're keeping our heads on our shoulders, and let's go for a kill, because we started off with a loss and then we had a draw, so it only makes sense that we get a win.
So prediction, what do you think the scoreline is going to be like?
Well, our last game was 2-0 in my perspective, because the goals that we gave away, we gave them away for free. So if we're able to hold tight again and not make such mistakes, I think we have another 2 coming. Yeah.
All right, Charlie.
Let's just be hopeful that we don't give any goal away today. Well, the match is slated for 8 p.m. and is against Mozambique. Well, gospel musician Sissy Chim also promises the return of her concert, Old Worship. And amidst that, in 2024, all lovers of Sissy Chim should be expectant of a lot of singles and an album release.
2024, there are lots coming, pushing on the way, singles, new albums are coming, and also definitely Old Worship is going to come on. So, like, they should look forward to seeing Sissy doing amazing things this year.
Okay, but can you give us an idea of how the album is going to be? How many tracks you are going to have on it?
I can't say that. And you know what else?
And that was Sissy Chim, but let's go all the way to America, United States of America, and an actress, that is Angela Bassett, after receiving the Academy Honors, said an advice she will give her younger self is to keep on dreaming, because she knows that there's someone definitely watching that will make her big dreams come to a reality.
What would you say to little Angela now, what she was thinking about getting to where you are now? What would you say to her?
Wow. Oh, gosh. Never give up. Never give up dreaming. And I didn't.
Were there times, though, where you were like, I don't know if I could do this?
Never. I know folks have those from moment to moment, but honestly, never. Just loved it so much. And even from the beginning, I would think I could do it at the community center. I can act here. I can act at church. You can act anywhere. I would act walking down Broadway in New York City, and it would satisfy my soul. So I never had that idea.
You never gave up. Thank you, Angela.
Always someone who saw something in me and had my back and gave me an opportunity, and it fed my soul. I'm sure there's always someone looking out for you. Just be open to it.
That will draw the curtains down on entertainment. The name is Ibrahim Benbako. World News is up next with Aisha Ibrahim.
Right, at least 8 people have died and dozens are still missing after a landslide struck China's southwestern province of Yunnan. The landslide is Jiaotong City happened at 21:51 GMT on Monday, trapping 47 people. President Xi Jinping has ordered an all-out rescue in the area, which is experiencing sub-zero temperatures. The cause of the landslide remains unclear, but the remote mountainous region is prone to them. More than 500 people were evacuated from their homes and nearly 1,000 rescue workers were dispatched to the site. Chinese Vice Premier Zhang Guangqing reportedly led a group to the site to guide rescue operations. That is it for World News, and that will be it for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Every landlord of any premises or monthly or short tenancy shall issue to the tenant of such premises within 7 days after the commencement of the tenancy.
Right. Is there a situation where the court will say, I don't think your marriage has actually broken down beyond reconciliation, so go back?
Yes, indeed. It has happened before. What the court usually recommends in these situations isn't that go back and marry, but go and seek counseling.
People who stand in your way of developing your land, if you have acquired it, will be punished with minimum 10 years, maximum 15 years. How else do we stop this canker?
If you look at the 2772, it says a person who purports to make a grant of land without authority also commit an offense.
When it comes to law, the skills have to differ.
Welcome to the law. This is your legal light. It is your health law. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini.
Every landlord of what the law demands that the maximum rent advance you should take should be 6 months.
Stories. That's what we tell each other every day. At Joy News, we tell your story. You have a story the world should know about? Tell it to Joy News. We are your home of bold, credible, and fearless journalism. I am Emefa Apau.
Hola,